The Persian Gulf could literally explode at any moment, and all the prerequisites for this are absolutely in place. The first prerequisite is precisely the actions of the United States military there. The United States has already deployed an extremely large aviation group. There has been a deployment of an aviation group, including allies, focused on actions against Iran, with the main concentration at the air base in Qatar and adjacent sites in Oman, as well as in Europe. According to information obtained from open sources, there are currently at least 20 and possibly even more than 25 aerial refueling aircraft confirmed to be present in the Middle East region. Additionally, up to 12 KC-135s have been deployed in Europe, which provide transatlantic transfer and serve as a reserve for these tankers. Supporting 40 to 60 tactical aviation combat sorties per day is potentially what these tankers are capable of. The strike component also includes at least 4 squadrons of F-15E Strike Eagles, as well as 600 to 800 tons of aerial munitions that these squadrons can carry. Reconnaissance support is provided by up to 3 MQ-4 Charlie Triton UAVs, and this is also a serious signal. There is also a logistics component. All of this indicates that in terms of the combined potential of this aviation group, the United States is prepared to conduct an intensive air campaign for up to 2 weeks. According to the available indicators, this group is capable of striking military targets, air bases, air defense elements, command posts, and critical infrastructure throughout the entire depth of Iranian territory. The publication Axios also today cites Donald Trump as saying that he has not yet made a final decision about striking Iran, but he is capable of making that decision quite quickly. Everything is ready for this. Everyone is in position. Donald Trump is now giving the Iranian leaders, Ayatollah Khamenei, one last chance to come to their senses, right? And still agree to the deal that is being offered. Accordingly, this deal must be extremely advantageous for the United States of America. Well, and obviously to bring to an end these days, these years, decades of the Ayatollah's wonderful regime, this Islamic leader, this leadership, as a statute that has lasted since 1979. At the same time, there are also indirect signs, namely that Israel is already prepared to strike Iran. The Times of Israel reports that the Israel Defense Forces have completed preparations in case of a possible American strike. According to the publication, the deployment of forces in the Middle East will be completed within the next few hours. After that, an attack on Iran could be carried out at any moment, and Israel, as the main partner and key ally in this region for the United States of America, and the United States is a Zionist country, essentially. Israel is a sovereign territory, but de facto, it is like a state of the United States there. So they are ready for this scenario. Meanwhile, the supreme leader of Iran himself, apparently reacting to all this news, according to the Jerusalem Post, is currently in a bunker. This is a system of tunnels in the city of Tehran. He went down there to avoid risking his own safety, while on the surface he left his third son, Masoud. This is very interesting. Masoud Khamenei has now taken over the daily management of the leader's office and is effectively the main channel of communication with the executive branches of power. In other words, Khamenei is now running the country from underground through his son. It's just like in American thrillers about Saddam Hussein. I don't know, this whole story just keeps repeating itself, so it's turning into some kind of reality. The supreme leader Ali Khamenei, after he was threatening his adversaries with military strikes or severe retaliatory revenge, is now showing that he is basically not ready to engage in diplomatic negotiations. Trump has a different story, I repeat, but it seems to me that Trump is simply giving the current Iranian leadership a chance to do everything right so that the United States doesn't get dragged into some kind of fight. Given the potential that has been gathered, as I have already noted, this might be a short war that should end within 10 to 14 days. Frankly, Trump has no plans for anything more than that. There was information that he is hesitating to seize this opportunity to eliminate the threat to Israel and the destabilization in the region because his military advisors cannot guarantee that the United States won't get drawn into a war. Trump definitely does not need to get involved in a war. The election campaign will already start in May, and in November there will be elections in the United States. And that's why the Republicans and the Trumpist wing need to approach all of this carefully. And yes, the ratings right now aren't really connected to the migration crisis. And now there's another war, which, well, will definitely hurt, let's say, some of the points. And then someone else, instead of Trump, will start saying, well, if I were president, this definitely wouldn't have happened. Another fascinating story is the one closely connected to that massive, huge naval armada, often referred to as Trump's armada. Specifically, I am talking about the impressive Abraham Lincoln battleship strike group. Here you go. Please take a look at this beautifully and professionally edited video. This, my dear friends, is absolutely no joke at all. Welcome to the Persian Gulf. Here you go. This is currently the largest such naval strike group ever seen, even significantly bigger than what was previously assembled in the Caribbean Sea before the instant operation to decapitate the regime in Venezuela. Here in this region, everything is much more serious, deeply concerning and increasingly threatening for everyone involved. It's a wake-up call, really, isn't it? The concentration of the U.S. Navy aircraft carrier strike group Abraham Lincoln in the Middle East. The U.S. states that it has completed the deployment of troops to Israel to assist with defense. The Israeli army has also been placed on full combat readiness. So let's summarize what we have at this point. The U.S. Navy aircraft carrier strike group is concentrated in the Middle East as a deterrent factor. That's one. Second, the country's supreme leader, Khamenei, is hiding somewhere in the basements of Tehran. Two. Third, the United States has completed the deployment of its units in Israel to strengthen that country's defense capabilities. Three. And fourth, yes, let's not forget, last weekend, right now there's complete silence, but last weekend there were real threats coming from Iran. The head of the country's National Security Commission stated that American soldiers should be ready to say goodbye to their families. That's how it is. Now, why could all this quickly turn into a reality that, as I understand it, neither the White House nor Iran wants? Mainly, it's just verbal sparring, but everything is ready for it. Why? Because the detailed intelligence briefings and those classified reports that Donald Trump receives say that right now. See, Trump was recently briefed on specific intelligence, saying that Iran's current government is significantly weaker than before. In other words, Trump was briefed with reports stating that Iran's government is very weak, the weakest it has been since the overthrow of the Shah during the 1979 revolution. So what is all this based on? According to reports, these protests that erupted at the end of December shook the Iranian government, especially when they spread to different regions of the country. The protests subsided, or more precisely, they were suppressed with bloodshed. Trump warned in this regard that he would strike Iran, that he would protect the Iranian people. But a broader campaign might be more appealing to some of the more hawkish aides and allies of the United States of America. And Trump sees in this an opportunity to go down in history as the person who put an end to this 40-year-long unclear situation in the Middle East. As of Monday, the aircraft carrier Abraham Lincoln, accompanied by 3 warships equipped with Tomahawk missiles, entered the area of responsibility of the United States Central Command. And if, in fact, the White House officially issues the formal command to strike Iran, the aircraft carrier, in theory, friends, yes, could commence its strategic military operations within 1 or 2 days. This is a highly detailed and authentic intelligence report coming directly from the intelligence agencies of the United States of America. And also remember the F-15E and the use of additional air defense systems, as well as long-range bombers based in the US that can strike targets in Iran while remaining in a heightened state of combat readiness. That's the story. We still have to look at the pizza index and then finally figure out, is Iran ready to make a deal with Donald Trump or not? I believe that Iran might be ready if it weren't for some pressure from the Russian Federation, which is not going through the best of times, withdrawing troops from bases in Syria, some deals between Iran and Washington that are pushing Russia further and further away. Trump's path in the Caucasus and the huge agreement between Armenia and the United States. And then there's Ukraine, which is not giving in and it seems has no intention of leaving the unconquered Donbass. And all of this leaves a clear mark on the fact that Putin is essentially losing his allies. Even if he hasn't lost his influence in Trump's eyes, a weakened Putin, in my opinion, is a Putin who is no less safe or dangerous than a Putin who absolutely believes in his triumphs in many parts of the world. So I think Trump will take all this into account. And if he is confident that this operation will be completed in 2 weeks, he will go for it. Well, that's my personal prediction.